Thank you, and welcome. I want to add my welcome to the thank you to the American Veterans Center, who makes this possible, who never forget who we are. I'd like to take you on a little trip today through memory. December 7, 1941. The Japanese attack. Without warning, they attack us in Pearl Harbor. That's in Hawaii. Hawaii was not a state. Most of the people, including myself, didn't even know where Pearl Harbor was. We lost 2,600 on that day. They sunk our ships, but they made 4 errors. Error number 1, they attacked us on a Sunday. Some of them were at church and elsewhere, so they weren't in the barracks. Mistake number 2, the main part of our fleet was out on maneuvers. They didn't touch them. Third, stupidly, they avoided bombing the oil controls. All the oil that was used by the Navy ships in the Pacific came out of this Hawaiian area. They never bombed those tanks. But fourth, they opened a nerve center. We were a country rising out of the greatest depression that the world has ever seen. And we were forced into a war. We only had 130 million people in the United States. We put 16,200,000 in uniform. And you'll meet some of them here. And you cadets from the academies, reach out to us, touch our hands. We're human, we flow like blood. You'll meet Rosie here, it's going to be 100. We are ancient citizenry, and we want to take you on this trip. I want to take you to some places that you may never been. Twice I have been at the invasion of Normandy to celebrate. I stood at the foot of a giant, giant cliff called Pont du Hoc. If you ever go there, I want you to remember this story. When you look up there, replay this story in your mind. 235 Rangers come in flat-bottom boats. This is the greatest invasion in the history of the world. And they come in flat-bottom boats, preceded by a boat that fired rockets up into the face of that cliff. And on signal of the 235, they climbed the cliff. They climbed that cliff. And the Germans attacked from all sides. 235 of them. At the end of the day, there were 85 left. I heard one of them interviewed on a program I was there. And he stood in line, and here's the rule you get. If you're an American soldier and you take that oath to do what you will do within your human self, what you will do for our country. And when the whistle blew, they went up that cliff. And at the end, there were 85 of them left. Let me take you to another area. Let me take you to the Battle of the Bulge. Hear me. Bless those guys, and there are a couple of them here today. Bless the guys. The war was over. We had beaten the Germans. We had beaten them into submission, but they opened a new front, and we called that the Battle of the Bulge, and we lost 19,000 on those days. There were soldiers trapped in their pits and in the trenches, and for 40 hours, they couldn't even get up to go to a bathroom. Let me take you to Iwo Jima, where the Japanese, by plan, took us in. Our soldiers came in to invade. 2nd Marine Division, and they show up, as the Marines always do, Semper Fi, they say, and they climbed the sands of Iwo Jima, and it was a trap. And for 48 hours, those Marines were trapped in that sand. 40 hours. Now, what is the aftermath of all this? You see us here today. We look normal. We look human. Well, I did mention we only had 130 million people. We put 16.2 in the 16,200,000 in uniform. Women in those days didn't go to combat. No, they say women never went into combat. Tell me what the nurses did. When those invasions are a day and a half old, they got to build a field hospital. In come the women nurses. Moreover, we couldn't man our factories, or make our planes, or we couldn't do any of those things without the woman in the workforce. Remember, we took the body of our manhood, we took them away, and yet we stood for something. Let me take you to another site. I want you to take you to a place called Bari, Italy. And I have an affectionate attachment to Bari, Italy. It's on the Adriatic in Italy. It wasn't a very busy port. And on a December day in 1943, on a Sunday, 105 German aircraft flew over and bombed that harbor. There were 17 ships in that harbor. 17 in a harbor that was equipped for 9. Now, normally, here's the dock, and the ships are parked athwart ships to the dock. But there were so many ships, they had to park them this way. And they bombed those ships. Unbeknownst to anybody, including the crew members on those ships, unbeknownst to them, there were 500 tons of mustard gas bombs in the belly of that ship. When that ship was hit and caught on fire, it disintegrated. My buddies, my friends that I never got to know, people like me who were in the war. I was only 15 or 16 when I went in the war. My parents never even owned a home. We lived in the center city of Philadelphia, and the rent was $11 a month. A quart of milk was 10 cents. A loaf of bread was 10 cents. And they took us out of that environment to serve our country. Oh, there's more. There's a lot more. There's something called the Mermaid's Run. You can find out about this. You can find about 33 ships, 34 to start, ended up with 33. They're in a major convoy for the first time, 6-7 months after the war. And that convoy went down the coast and went into the Bering Sea, surrounded by 22 ships that were there to protect them. They had a cruiser, and they had submarines, and they had the destroyer escorts to protect these ships. Each lane is protected. So what happened, Lord Admiral, British government decided to pull away the combat support. And those ships were in the Bering Sea, where the water temperature is 45 degrees below zero. You take a hit, you get in that water, you got 4 minutes and you're dead. Who speaks for them? We do. If you meet a veteran here today, touch his hand and ask him what he would like to see in this world. If you meet a veteran, give him some time. We all are not articulate. Some of us may be bashful, shy, but hear their story. And you young people in the academy, you are our future. And in that, I want to take you now back away from the journey to where you are today. The way people were called to the service 200, 300 years ago, British style, the army went into the community and played the bagpipes. And the skirl of the bagpipes took the people away. And a father and his son are there, and he's saying goodbye, and they wrote a piece of music about it. It's called Danny Boy. It comes from an ancient Gaelic hymn called Londonderry Air. 1926, they made it into a story of words. And it's a father. And the father says to the son, "Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountain side. The summer's gone, and all the flowers are dying. And you must go, and I must bide." Now, there's a poetic ending to that speech, and I've taken the last part of the speech that they made into this beautiful song, "Oh, Danny Boy," and it goes like this. My words. "When should I return? When the guns of war are silenced, and I am dead, as dead I well may be. Please, please, come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave, a prayer for me, and I shall hear, though soft your tread above me. And in my tomb will warm and water be, if you'll not fail to tell me that you honor me. Then I shall sleep in peace for all eternity." Now someday, today, call your friends, tell them about what you heard, tell them what you saw, And when they ask you who said these words, tell them it was a 16-year-old boy in the body and mind of a 98-year-old veteran of World War II. God bless America. God bless this wonderful nation. Long may it live. Amen. Thank you.